information.
Yeah.
What
But-
jobs did he have, and what were you doing, Sue?
Anyway,
Oh, I was just taking care of my fingernails.
No, what were you doing while he was like
Eating bonbons.
with
She was
school
taking
and
care
all
of-
that?
she taught school.
Well,
Oh, that's when you were
First
teaching.
year I was in med school.
I substituted in Memphis, Tennessee,
No,
when I was pregnant. I
in
substituted in
Memphis.
those huge schools they had there, and it was before much integration, so it was different. And yeah, but Noah, after we started our family, I took
Well-
care of them day and
well,
night,
you know,
24/7.
My first year in medical school, you taught over North Little Rock School.
Yeah, I did teach a year
For a
over
year.
in North Little Rock. Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that,
I didn't like it at all, but I did it.
yeah.
What did you teach?
English and civics.
Mm-hmm.
I never.
So that was
just-
high school
That's
then.
because they needed a civics teacher. I never was prepared for that. Yeah, that what now?
That must have been high school.
It was junior high.
That's. And what 3 jobs did you have?
Well, I worked in the morgue,
At what?
worked in the morgue,
Oh.
More.
Oh.
receiving dead bodies during the night. They went to school and had to sleep down in the morgue. And then I worked in a lab. Was that when I was in school or? And I worked in a lab anyway. And then when I was got through medical school, I did weekend. What do you call it? Weekend. Go to the emergency room, take emergency room calls.
Yeah.
Like-
on the weekend.
Like a residency or something?
Well, it was while I was a resident,
Mm-hmm.
intern and resident. We did weekend.
And you went to that psychiatric hospital down in
Oh,
Benton.
oh, you know, I did.
State
Yeah, I did
hospital.
history and physical and psychiatry. No, and it was in Little Rock. It was next to medical school, close by.
Yeah.
And I did history and physicals there, and worked there. And so just various things.
And that's when you were teaching, and then you got pregnant.
No, I was pregnant in Memphis.
But which
This
came
is-
first, Little Rock or Memphis?
Chrissy was married. I was born
Chrissy was born
in
in
Memphis.
Memphis.
Yeah.
I don't know that I knew that.
Well, we got married and we lived in Little Rock for the school year. That because remember we had to get back to start class in
Yeah.
September, so that's the reason we got married when we got married. And so we had that year of school. We lived at the house on Marguerite Lane, and then Bob went. He went to get his master's degree at Ole Miss. So we rented that house, and I needed 2 courses to finish my bachelor's degree, so I took 2 courses at Ole Miss.
Oh,
It was
where
fun.
where
It was
is Ole
beautiful.
Miss?
It's in Oxford, Mississippi.
But y'all living in Memphis?
We
And
lived in
drove?
Oxford. I'm going back to where, after we
Oh.
got married, then we were a year there, and then we went to Oxford. He got his master's, and I finished my practice teaching and a couple of one course I needed to transfer back for my bachelor's degree. And then after Oxford, he got a job in Memphis at the University of Tennessee doing research with Dr. Audion, right?
Research on what?
Plastic bags,
Yeah,
plastics?
no, well, he
What
was
was it?
a biomedical researcher. Let's see, what was it? Biomaterials. He dealt with a lot of the materials were developed that he would make sure they were safe, you know, for
Like
medical
to
use.
have blood in those bags, is that what?
The
it
blood,
was?
yeah, blood, one of my projects was the blood bags.
Mhm.
You know, you get your blood in, a liter of blood, and you hang it up. I kept those for a year, and periodically would check for different materials leaching out, because they're putting plastic bags
Mm-hmm.
leaching out
So I'm telling them
into
it's
the blood.
plastic we
And
put in our body.
although there was some material we identified, it was not toxic. So anyway, wrote a paper up. He wrote it actually. I just did the work. And
But your name was on it, didn't
yeah,
it?
and he got in medical school the next year. Christy was born in Memphis, so
Christy was
during that
born
year.
in August.
Yeah,
And
and then medical school started September.
yeah, and so
Wow.
so we moved from
We had to move, set up.
With a
back-
baby.
We moved back, yeah,
Yeah.
newborn. Christy was
Yeah.
6 weeks older.
But why was she born in Memphis though? Was it
Because
not a hospital?
we were living there, and he was at the
I
University
was
of
applying to medical
Tennessee,
school.
and he was applying to medical school,
So from Oxford you went to Memphis?
Memphis.
where
right.
he worked at the university in research.
Oh, that's where that was, okay.
Did you apply to a bunch of medical schools or no?
I was just going to Russell.
Mm.
My brother went to Arkansas,
Mm-hmm.
and so I said,
And we wanted to stay in
I
Arkansas.
wanted to stay there. So I really did, and I was just looking to get into Arkansas. And so we got to Arkansas and moved back to moved back to Little Rock. And
And then you started medical school, and
Yeah.
I started teaching
started teaching
in Jacksonville. I would drive over.
North Little Rock, Jackson.
It's Jacksonville. North Little Rock and Jacksonville. That's the
Oh,
Air
yeah.
Force Base.
Oh, yeah, that was the Jacksonville zone down.
Air Force Base.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And we had a nice, sweet little lady who took care of Christy
Yeah.
while I taught. And she ended up getting married. She was real so well, and she seemed like an older lady at the time, but she probably not.
Mm-hmm.
And so she ended up getting married toward the end of the school year. And then grandmother did take care of Christy for a month or two, because that woman who was babysitting Christy got married. So anyway.
But did you like teaching there? Is that when you taught civics and?
No, I didn't like it. No,
But is that where you taught the civics and the?
yeah,
English?
yeah. I
And you didn't like it?
Well, in Memphis, I would substitute,
Mhm.
but I didn't teach anything. I just babysat
Mm-hmm.
these big, tall kids, and I didn't want to turn my back on them. I'm serious. I would stand with my back to the blackboard. I didn't want to turn my back on. They were, they were okay, but they were sarcastic, and
They were middle school too, junior high.
no, it's high school.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't just one school. They'd send me around. I was substitute, so you take whatever,
Mm-hmm.
whoever got sick that day or didn't teach or whatever.
So then in Arkansas, you taught there and had Christy at the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Christy was a baby
Mm-hmm.
that year, and we lived off of we saved the money that I made, and we lived off of the GI Bill.
GI Bill.
That was great.
Yeah,
That helped
from
us.
the
We
government
could afford to
going
live.
to school
Yeah.
and then working.
So we
Yeah.
did good. That GI
We
Bill
did. I
was
can't remember
wonderful.
any time. Of course, Granddaddy would bring us steaks from
Mhm.
Swift
Yeah, we
Company.
had steaks all the time.
So we were eating steaks and things like
I bet you didn't have a hemoglobin problem then.
No.
That was nice of him. He brought you steak, huh?
Yeah, all kind of, we didn't, yeah.
And then you didn't go back to work after. How long did you work for,
It-
Sue? The whole school year?
But that year,
Mhm.
I did in Jacksonville, but then I didn't, after that, I didn't work.
Like after
I
summer?
just stayed and
Yeah.
took care of Christy,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and, that's what I wanted to do anyway, but we just couldn't afford it that first year. But, as it turned out,
It worked out, yeah.
everything just worked out great. I mean,
Yeah.
we
So,
had,
Mom, I've told this story many, many times over the years.
you
And
told a story.
Matter of fact, recently I have of the steaks that were wrapped in foil that were in the freezer,
Oh, yeah.
and then Dad got to bring in, tell that story.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Well, we always had steaks in the freezer, in our refrigerator, because Granddaddy always brought us steaks.
He worked for Swift Company,
And he
meat
worked for the meat company, so, and, so the story is, and it's true, that Bob just loved every minute of medical school, just every minute of it. He loved the anatomy, he loved the whole thing, and he somehow finagled somebody, I don't know, you'll have to tell how you got
I
it,
was
but
when I was resident though, I was in.
he was
I
a resident.
I was doing a hand, actually it turned out to be
Hand
hand
specialty,
fellowship.
Yeah,
I did just hand
yeah.
and one of the prized possessions of somebody who is studying a hand is to get an actual hand, which I was able to do,
I don't know how you did that.
to really dissect the anatomy, but in order to do that, it takes a lot of time. So I brought it home and wrapped it up in foil and put it in the freezer.
With the
So-
meat, with the
Yeah,
steaks.
so it wouldn't deteriorate.
And I
bring it
didn't
out.
know he did that.
I bring it out periodically
know.
at night, usually late at night, I guess, and dissect it and
I never saw
then
you
put it back in the
dissect.
freezer. So what happened? Did you open up one time?
Yeah, I didn't know what it was in there. I didn't know what it was. And then I
Yeah.
found out it was a hand.
Yeah, you did not.
You couldn't tell when you opened it, it was all cut up?
I didn't open it.
Oh, yeah.
I asked him what it was.
Yeah.
And he wasn't gonna tell.
Yeah.
He just stuck it in the freezer.
Yeah, but anyway, so
Never know.
that's the story.
That's about like the time that when he was in medical school, he took an anatomy class. Well, he had to take an anatomy class. And then he had a
Oh,
nightmare,
Yeah,
during that course. And, in his nightmare, you'll have to tell the nightmare.
well, it was very intensive, and so I was usually the first one in the lab, and that was my first course, it was anatomy. And I'd show up, I don't know, 6 o'clock or so, it wouldn't start till 8. And I was always the first there, and usually the last to go, and just loved the dissection. But anyway, to the extent that I didn't dream, I don't know if it's a nightmare, but it was a dream,
Well.
of dissecting a cadaver, and then all of a sudden, he set up, it's time for a break. And so I said, okay, and so he went out for a smoke. And I forget what I did, but that was essentially what the dream was about. It was just as vivid as anything, though. And
That's
then he came
funny.
back in and laid down, and I got back to work. Dissecting, yeah. But that's
That's a nightmare.
that's how intensive that was. So, but just enjoyed it. Just I don't know, just something about the intensity of studying that was just very enjoyable. Really was.
Well, what did y'all do for, like, if you're a newly married couple and now you're in med school, you have 3 jobs, you have a job and a baby, what did y'all do for fun?
What do we do for fun? What, I mean.
That's a good
What
question,
do you,
yeah.
well, what do you do? You don't have time?
Go out
Gonna
to
say.
dinner, or like, y'all had a sailboat, you would,
Well, that's when I was
That
residency.
that was later.
After being a resident, and that was
Yeah.
we I forget what year of residency we were. I was in orthopedics, but anyway,
Phoenix, Arizona?
in orthopedics.
Ortho-
Residency, yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, in medical school, you get to know all the professors and different doctors in town and all that. And one of them was a cardiovascular surgeon, and he had a sailboat called a Lark, and that's it's a little 14-foot mainsail and jib, which are made primarily in the
Open
Northeast.
your eyes.
But opened my eyes. So anyway, I don't know how, I was scrubbing in with him or something, helping him on surgery. We got to talk about sailing, and he talked about a little sailboat he had that he was going to sail. So anyway, I got Sue and we met him out at the lake, Lake Momel.
Like Momel, it's a big lake.
And it had this little 14-foot, it was on a trailer, we took it out. And was it winter time or was it
I don't
fall
know,
or
but
something?
the water was
The water
cold
was frigid, was cold
Mm.
when we
anyway.
capsized one of the.
And no, well, yeah, that's what happened at the end, but he got us in, he was gonna show me how to sail and how to use the wind and everything, which I did, first time I'd ever been in a sailboat or using it. Anyway, so we got out and we were coming back in and I was on the, what do you call the yoke? What's that?
The rudder.
Rudder in the back. And we got a bus, we were coming into a little inlet where all the boats come in. And boy, I got wind behind me and we were just sailing in there.
Mm.
I didn't know how to stop it once we got into where we were gonna go right into the boats. So the only thing I knew was hit the tiller or the rudder and it turned around quickly and it went turned around, that wind just pushed through. And we all ended up, here was this big, he was about 6'3" or 4", big burly guy, cardiovascular surgeon. And he said, that's a good cardiac test. So we were in the cold water and we had to ride it and get back. Anyway, I ended up buying the boat, so
Oh, geez.
Sue and I had a chance to sail,
And we capsized other times.
we did capsize.
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
Yeah, but we knew.
Where
how
did
to-
y'all take it?
We knew how to write the boat.
Yeah.
We'd read the book.
Yeah, like,
And
we'd
so
have
we
it on a
knew how to
trailer.
write, get it back up.
Yeah.
We did real well. I
And we
thought.
had Lake Momel, but it was a lot of fun. It
It
gave
was
us,
fun, yeah.
you talk about what activities did we do other than go to school and so forth, take care of kids, and that was one of the things, I think we enjoyed it together. And then we got to know orthopedic research doctor, who was in my department. And he had a nice old.
So wait, back up. So Christy was on the boat too?
30,
No.
No,
no, that was,
Just a baby.
Yeah.
No.
no.
No,
but
we
you
just-
already had Christy.
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
we got I think probably one of the times mom and dad or somebody.
Yeah,
took
somebody
care of
just
them.
watched her. It's
They
We
nice.
got away to go
Watched it.
sailing,
Mhm.
For a few hours.
see, that's you ask.
Yeah, no,
where we
yeah.
went.
Mhm.
And so that was one of the things, and then we got to know these people. And they're older couple, he was a research orthopedist, and he had a nice, 24, 26,
A
30
big-
foot,
A big boat.
big boat. Anyway, it had a cabin in it and everything, go down to the cabin. And, so, and I just got to know him in the apartment. He took us sailing and he'd take us by his house and we'd visit and so forth, he and his wife, and real nice people.
What
And,
was his name? Started with an F.
Rhinelander.
Oh, no, it
Yeah,
started with an R.
Dr. Rhinelander.
Close.
And anyway, to the point that he'd let me take it out,
Mhm.
Sue and I go out by ourselves and sail. So, but it was
The
just.
big boat?
The big boat.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
well, we got
Nice.
to where we could sail
Yeah.
after you did that lark, and learn
Yeah.
all the winds and everything,
I don't,
and
yeah.
pulling the sails, huh?
I don't remember, I remember being on their bigger boat, but I don't remember actually sailing it.
Yeah, we
Maybe we did.
went out with them several times, and he asked if we wanted to take it out anytime.
Oh,
And I
And
think
then
we
that-
did once or twice.
I don't know, maybe we did.
I can't remember
yeah.
that either. But anyway, it was just, that was one of the activities we did.
And
I
we
guess.
liked to canoe, and we almost drowned the
Oh.
kids.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
remember
that
that.
was, a resident, went up to Buffalo State Park up in, northeast Arkansas. And it was after the flood season, it had a big flood going. And I borrowed one of my resident buddies, he had a nice canoe. And it was, Mark was with us for some reason.
Yes, Marcus, well, he was with us quite a bit.
And to camp out, we just, 2 or 3 resident buddies and wives and families got together and camped out the weekend. And we did a canoe trip anyway, it was flooded. And you come to a fork where it's just real rapid going, and
But
then,
we didn't know it was flooded till we all got in the boat and got
Yeah,
in the
we were
water.
gone, and it
We
got
just thought
real
it was
rapid.
just,
and so we were just keeping control of it, and so, I saw a couple in front of us go off to the left, and it seemed like how we got pulled to the right, and I was trying to go to the left, somehow we got turned sideways against the little island of trees or whatever, what bushes or something.
Yeah.
And it hit the canoe and turned over, and all of a sudden, of course, we all had life jackets on. And there were Sue and I and Rob and Christy and.
Oh, Rob
Mark.
was alive now too.
I remember that.
And we all went under, and I was up. That's all I wanted to see is heads pop up, and there they were. And so I got them over somehow. The canoe was actually completely wrapped around this thing. It was a plastic kind of canoe. It wasn't plastic. It was whatever that material. Anyway, it was a real nice canoe, but
But it wasn't ruined.
I got them off to the shore, and it was my buddy's canoe, so I knew I couldn't lose that canoe. It was probably at that time a $400 canoe, which I couldn't afford. And so I went back and put we had a rope on the end of the canoe, you know, tied up, and I tried to pull it off, and I finally pulled it off, and it swung away from the brush and straightened out. And then all of a sudden the canoe took off, and here I had my arm wrapped around it, and here I was going behind it in the
It
rapids.
was like the Three Stooges.
And anyway,
It's just-
it got to a point where it just smoothed out, and then I got off with it, and it got the boat out. And
Well, what about Rob and Chris? How old was Rob?
Gee,
I was probably 3 or 4 because we
Yeah,
moved
he-
here when I was 5.
he could've
I
been.
remember hitting the
Probably
water and it was all
probably
brown.
yeah,
I
You
just saw
could've
all
been
brown.
5,
And I remember seeing him floating down
Oh,
with
yeah.
the canoe, like holding on the side of the canoe. He was under the
Yeah,
water
you
with
just
Mark.
he was,
And
Gosh, so it was all of y'all plus Christy plus Mark?
Yeah.
5 people in a canoe?
a lot of people.
yeah.
Well, they were little kids.
Yeah,
We
that's
stayed with
true.
Our life jackets on,
Yeah.
popped back up, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those things where God just took care of us.
He took care of us.
I mean,
He
tell you,
always
it
does.
could have been one of those tragedies that happened, you know.
Mm.
But the Lord took care of us, and we got out of that.
And never forgot it.
You never forgot it, yeah.
It was something that you do when you're young and stupid,
Mm-hmm.
stupider
Yeah, but that was-
than later.
We were several years in the residency, and
Yeah.
How long was
Rob
residency?
was born my junior year, 72,
Mhm.
and in medical school. And residency was
And-
4
and
years,
you
intern
were not-
residency,
You
4
weren't
years.
allowed to even be in the room when you
No.
had to, you
Oh,
were
for the-
a
yeah.
graduate of medical school.
Yeah, well, no, it was 3rd year, but still,
Well, anyway, you were in medical
Yeah.
school, I thought you graduated.
yeah.
And he couldn't be in the room.
Why?
It was a rule.
Oh, it was a rule, you couldn't, everything was,
That,
you know,
the husband couldn't, this was before the husband or the father of the child could be there and coach
Wow.
and help and be a support,
Wow.
so.
That's
It's,
very weird, yeah.
well, yeah, it seems that way, but that's the way it was. Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
nobody really, I mean, it was all sanitized
Mm-hmm.
and long waits. In Memphis, when Christy was born, he had to wait out for hours in the waiting room. Remember?
Yeah, yeah.
Like 12 hours.
In
I was in
Memphis.
labor.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was something. But the men they were just shunted off in the corner.
yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, it changed a lot.
All right, last question because we have 1 minute. What was your religion, and did y'all go to church then?
When? What year?
At residency and
Did we what?
Go to church. Did we go to church? We were.
Rob was baptized, but
He was
Commissioned.
dedicated. What
yeah,
they
he was
call it,
commissioned
in the
to-
Methodist church.
But-
that's where y'all went?
Christen,
Yeah.
you mean?
To the
Yeah.
I grew up in the
It
Methodist
wasn't
church.
'Cause your
Christian,
dad
that
was a preacher.
Dedicated. It was called
Okay.
dedication service.
Dedicated, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
your dad was a preacher.
You were a
No,
child.
he
You were a baby.
was about in the Baptist.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that was way back. I mean,
But Sue was Methodist.
but
Yeah.
when my Mama's side of the family were all strict Methodist. I say that because they were all Methodist, and it was
Mhm.
if you became a Baptist, you know. they
Baptist
didn't
was as
they
bad as
didn't like
Catholic.
it. Oh, well, you just didn't need to know anybody other than Methodist.
Yeah,
would know.
mhm.
But, yeah, anyway,
So y'all went to church there, and that's where you got married in Methodist church?
we did,
Mhm.
but we got married in the church I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
And the preacher that was there, yeah.
Yeah,
that-
Brother Woody, and he'd been my preacher for many years, and he married us. And, yeah, it was great, it was
Yeah.
great. I like the Methodist church, I
Mhm.
do.
Because there's a method.
Cause what?
Because there's a method.
There's a method to the whole thing.
Mhm.
Well, it's interesting how Mima became a Presbyterian. Yeah.
Well, that's
Earl.
after my dad died and she
Oh.
married Earl, and Earl was a
Earl,
I got you.
Presbyterian.
That makes sense then.
And the two denominations are very much alike,
Yeah.
except in some major areas of belief, but that's okay. I mean, it's all Christian.
So was she shunned because she married a Baptist preacher?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think so.
Was she what?
Shunned.
Well, he was actually just
Son.
when they-
Shunned.
When they got married,
Shunned.
he was going to. He went to Bible college. They both went
Oh.
to Bible college.
Okay. By her family, if they were all hardcore Methodists, and then
They
she
probably
married a
didn't
Baptist.
Like it. They probably didn't. I
I
don't know.
don't know.
I don't know.
No,
I mean, I asked that question because my own grandmother had to work in the cafeteria because she was a sinner because she married a Lutheran.
No, Grandpa Tabor would not have any problems with that.
I don't think
Huh?
so. I don't think so. But I mean,
I didn't know Winnie, but I don't think.
no, they were just came from a long line.
Wait, her mom's name was Winnie? Winifred?
Winifred.
Oh, nice. I got an Aunt Winnie. Cool.
And he called her Miss Winnie, even after they were married for many, many years.
Mm,
Miss Winnie.
Miss Winnie.
That's things have changed so much.
Yeah.
Married in the 1800s.
Wow.
Yeah. Jeez.
All right, that's a wrap. 27 minutes.
There you go.
It's a long time.
We'll part B
Stories.
tomorrow.
60 years all
Six-
together, wrapped up together.
Well, that was the start of it, right? Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so when you took painting lessons, who watched us?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
When I
not fun
took
to do.
painting lessons, Christy was in preschool, and I took you to Mother's Day out at the Methodist Church.
Was it here?
No, in Little Rock.
Oh, in Little Rock.
Mother's Day out.
And you were just I don't know, I guess you were in diapers.
Mhm.
And so the Methodist Church, they had Mother's Day out. In other words, they would keep your child for
Yeah.
a couple hours.
Mhm.
I think I had 2 or 3 hours, and I drop
Yeah.
Christy off and you off, and then I'd go to my painting class and then come back and pick you up.
Mm.
And a few times grandmother took care of Christy. I don't know, I'm trying to think how I went to painting class. Well, I mostly did it with the Mother's Day out. If I couldn't have done it without Mother's Day out, and Christy being in preschool, because she was only in preschool for so many
Yeah.
hours.
And Mima would have been working still,
And she probably was.
so she wouldn't have been
Yeah,
watching.
yeah.
Yeah.
Grandmother did watch Christy some when I was teaching school, right, a few months right at the end when the lady who was taking care of her got married.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, yeah, and that was a big help. And grandmother loved it. I can remember seeing her little short,
Yeah.
how tall was she? 4'11"?
Yeah, something like that.
And Christy was a big bundle, and I can remember her carrying Christy, come to the door and let me in.
Mm.
And she had Christy all up on her hip. Yeah, she loved it though, she really did.
Mm-hmm.
Or she said she did, I bet she was exhausted.
Mm.
All right.
Anyway.
Thank
We
you.
had a lot of good
Thank
years,
you.
Good
You're
times.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, me.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you,
think of other
thank you.
stories. If that springs any other stories,
Oh,
let us know because
Yeah.
there are. I've heard all those stories, but I'm sure there's a lot more.